Hello, welcome back to the OTB channel. Now you'll probably remember that last month I took a look at a distro that was called Stormfish. It was KDE Neon based on an Ubuntu base, and it was at the early stages of development. Well, a few weeks ago, Ben Fitzpatrick contacted me again and said, hey, we've done a lot more work and we have a few more additions. Can you take a look and see what we've done? So this week, I'm going to do just that. I'm going to look at the XFCE version of Stormfish, but on an Arch base this time, rather than Ubuntu. See you after the intro. Okay, welcome back. Some of you may have noticed through my intro that we're joined today by my Royal Enfield Interceptor. There is the beast. The reason that's there is we've been getting horrible rain and storms here in the UK, and the temperature has plummeted, and so it's time to put the bike away for the winter, ready to bring out again in the spring. So she's going to be there for the next month or so, and I'll just have it hooked up to a battery tender and start it up every few weeks just to keep it good. You'll see I have the other side. I have covered up the registration plate because I don't particularly want that going all over the internet. But hey, so we're joined now by the beast. Now, before we start today, I always forget this bit, so I've said to myself, right, you've got to remember it this time. Guys, if you like my videos, please like and subscribe. It really helps a lot. I'm hoping we're going to get to 17,000 subs by Christmas, but we've got a bit of a stretch, so anything you can do to help is great. If you'd like to support the channel, please also go to patreon.com/OldTechBloke and you can support me there. Right, thanks for that. So, Stormfish OS. I don't normally look at a distro that I've seen before in such a short gap, in the gap of about a month or so. But Ben contacted me and he said, look, we've done a bit of development now. We've got an XFCE version, and it's still based on Ubuntu, and we've also done a version based on Arch. So I said, well, which one do you want me to look at then? And he said, oh, just go with the Ubuntu version. So I said, okay, fine. And then I received a message from him saying, no, we changed our minds. Can you have a look at the Arch version? So I am happy to do that and to have a look how the guys have got on. I was relatively impressed with Storm OS the last time I looked at it, and it seemed to be moving in the right direction. It did still feel a little bit like it was in development, but I'm sort of expecting it to have gone a lot further. I've always got a huge amount of respect, for people who produce their own distros. And I think the main developer here is a guy called Seeker, and he's obviously been busy. Now, I know the arguments that are going to get thrown at me in the comments that why are we looking at distros that, have just been put together by one or two people or, a very small team. What happens if they suddenly stop? Aren't you left, stuck? And I would generally agree with that if it wasn't for the fact that I use Slackware, and that's essentially a one-man thing. But also, if something's based on the likes of Ubuntu or Arch, well, it's not like your package manager and your repositories are going to go under. Not at all. It's still got that big organization support behind it. But developers have decided that they're going to add their own tweaks, and if you like them, great, use them. So let's have a quick look at the Sourceforge webpage, where you can actually download all the additions now. Right, so you should see the Sourceforge page now on your screen for Stormfish OS. And I'm glad it's got a proper page now. When it was just a Google Drive link, it does put you off a little bit, or it puts me off. But seeing it on SourceForge, much better. And I see we've got a logo now, and that logo is quite striking. I like it. So Stormfish OS, the everyday person's operating system. Not sure what that means, particularly. Brought to you by SeekerLinux, who's the main developer. And as you can see there, 3 custom respins of KDE Neon and 2 custom spins of XFCE based on Ubuntu. And there is an Arch distro out there as well that they've created. And what are its main features? Well, essentially, it's Ubuntu or Arch, but we've got Samba active at the start of boot, Cups active at boot, WSDD added for Windows discovery of Samba shares, LAN share added to allow communication between Linux and Windows PCs, and for me, the big one, this CFS Zen tweaks to make everything, more efficient and faster. So a few tweaks under the hood. A lot of this is about theming and just enabling services. So you're not talking about massive differences from a plain Arch install or a plain Ubuntu install, but just enough that if you want these enabled out of the box, well, this does it for you. And if you look at the files here, the guys have, if I go to the ISO file and perhaps get rid of some of these annoying adverts that are all over SourceForge, you can see you've got a few here. On the KDE side, you have the core ISO. I presume that's what I looked at essentially last month. You've got an Office edition and a gaming edition. You've also got an XFCE Final ISO and a gaming edition, all based on Ubuntu still. And then last but not least, you've got an Arch edition. Could I just say one thing, guys? You've done a huge amount of work. Seeker, it's time to consolidate. Don't keep stuffing new stuff up there. You're just going to confuse people. There's enough there to go at now. There's enough of a choice. What's the difference between all these editions? Well, I'm just having a look here. Various things to fix theming. The gaming edition XFCE ISO. It's got wine PPAs with Lutris and game mode and Steam. I'll let you read it. Okay, if you're a gamer, install the gaming edition. If you're not a gamer, install the core or the final, or if you use a lot of Office apps, install the Office edition. I presume that's got LibreOffice installed out of the box. So, Stormfish OS. Let's see how it's come on. It looked pretty good. It looked like it was going in the right direction just over a month ago. Let's fire it up in VirtualBox. Let's have a look at the Arch edition and see what we think. Right, so you should see Stormfish OS XFCE Arch edition in front of you. This is the first time I've seen it. I haven't had a great deal of time this week, so when I came to the cabin to do this video, I've just downloaded it, just booted it up and just fired up OBS. And I can see that I'm greeted by what I presume is Calamaris. And I do like this Stormfish logo. I think it looks quite good. My eyes being caught by this little temperature weather thing there. I wish humidity 94% and temperature 64. It's a long way from that in the UK at the moment. But let's get on with this. Let's do a quick install and then we'll have a look around. So I want British English. Next. I should say it booted straight into the Calamaris installer. It's picked the time zone, which is great. It's defaulted to an English keyboard. I'm just going to erase the disk. I don't want to swap. I'm going to set my name as normal, OTB, and put in the password. I don't want to log in automatically. I want to use the same password as the administrator. And what do we have here? We can have non-free apps, TeamViewer, Telegram, or AnyDesk. I don't know what AnyDesk is, to be honest. If I have an NVIDIA GPU, there's lots of options here, including the Optimus Manager. Music and video, I can have Handbrake, MPD, NCM, PCPP, don't know about that, or MPV. Let's just click MPV for the sake of it. And what kernel do I want? What do I want? Let's just try the Linux Zen kernel and its headers. Why not? I believe that's more optimized for desktop PCs. So here is the confirmation. And let's click install. Am I sure? Yes, I certainly am. And off we go. So that was easy enough. I'm not going to put you through this installation. We'll come back to this once we've got the system installed. Okay, so we've rebooted. I have been into this before. I've just run a quick update just to make sure everything was as it should be. And I've rebooted immediately after that. And what you'll see is we're immediately at this very plain login screen. I'm not sure what this is. I have to say, I don't think it's Light DM. Oh, no, I think it's LX. Is it LXDM? Or LXDE, something like that. Okay, fine. Keyboard, I don't want a US keyboard. I want a UK keyboard. Have I got that option here? I can't see it, so we might have to do that as soon as we go in. Maybe it's under GB. Let me have a quick look. GB? I think that might be it. But okay, let's put the user in. So I'm OTB. I'll put in my password. And off we go. Now, when we get in here, knowing XFCE, it always gets the keyboard wrong. So I will change that straight away. But as you can see, we've booted in full HD into the desktop. And I have to say that compared to the KDE Neon desktop, I find XFCE a lot more, I don't know, it's just to my tastes. It looks cleaner, sharper, and I quite like the darkish colour scheme that he's got going on here. Now, you all know XFCE, so we're not going to go mad on this. Let me just initially launch a terminal, and let's see if HTOP's installed and what it's running at. I see NeoFetches there. And it's currently running at 581 megs. Okay, that's fine. Haven't got an issue with that. I have seen XFCE run lighter. It certainly runs a lot lighter on my Void system. I think 280 I've got it down to, which is good. Let's just have a look at that NeoFetch again, just to see what it's saying. So we're running the Zen kernel. That's great. That's the one I picked. 1247 packages. Okay, so it's not a lightweight even for XFCE, I have to say. It's running the Arc Dark window manager theme. Certainly approve of that. And the icons, Papyrus, Light, Nordic Blue. I'm a big Nord fan, so that would suit me. And everything else seems pretty much as we'd expect. So, what do you want to see here? Let me go into settings. That's probably the best place. And let's see if we can get the keyboard set. And I don't know why XFCE does this. Mate does it as well, but it never picks the right one. And I find myself lying. It has picked the right one. Excellent. What can I say? That's the first time I've seen XFCE actually stick to the keyboard that's been set. So that's all good. What have we got here in the menu? Well, let's go through accessories. So you've got the Catfish file search there, which is great. It's a great search tool. You've got disks, which I think is the GNOME disk tool. Yeah, which is fine as it goes. In Grandpa, Archive Manager, Calculator. You've got your HPlip there for your HP printers. I did mention the other week that I've recently got an HP printer, and I've just found the support for printing and scanning to be outstanding. You've got mousepad, network tools, screenshot tool, show sensor values. Okay, it's not showing a lot at the moment, but then again, I'd probably have to run sensors detect, and I am on a VirtualBox at the end of the day. What else? Thunar file manager and XFburn. Do we really need a DVD burner anymore? Hey, you know, it's up to yourself. We've got some development tools there. The one that I've used recently is Meld, and being a DWM fan and constantly doing tweaks, it's basically a graphical application that lets you run a diff command, but in a way that you can see exactly what the changes are and drag changes across between files. I'm really impressed with that. Games, Lutris and Steam is installed from the get-go, which I know the gamers amongst you will be very pleased about. Graphics, okay, so you've just got a document scanner and a document viewer. What's the document scanner? Oh, I have seen this before. I prefer Xsane, but I have tried that and it does work fine. So let's go back. Internet. So we've got a Vahi installed out of the box. I've found that I've had to really always use a Vahi when I have a wireless printer on the network. It just means things get found. Chromium, Deluge, FileZilla, and Steam in the internet section. FileZilla, great. Deluge, okay, it's a decent enough BitTorrent client. Chromium, I've sort of gone off it a bit since the syncing bookmarks feature has been dropped. Personally, I'd like to see something like Firefox in here as well, but this is an Arch system, so it's easy enough to install. And what have we got in multimedia? GUVC view for your webcam, simple screen recorder, VLC media player, which, despite the criticisms, is still my preferred media player. Office. Oh, that's interesting. LibreOffice is pretty heavy, I've got to say. And it's not the only option. And I see what's been included here is part of what would have, at one time, and perhaps still, have been called the GNOME Office Suite. AbiWord and GNUmeric, which is your spreadsheet. Both pretty good, and for simple uses of spreadsheets and word processors, they both do the job really well, and they are compatible if you need them to be with Microsoft Office files. HP scanning tool, then you have your standard settings and what's in the system. Add and remove software, which I think I will find that's per Mac. In fact, I can see per Mac already on the panel at the moment. Bulk rename, deconf editor, gparted, good. I like to see that from the beginning. grsync for synchronizing files and folders. Hardware locality ls topo. No idea what that is, but there's htop. Is indeed installed from the outset. Network tools, the task manager, Thunar, UX term, and the XFCE terminal. I think, to be honest, that's a pretty sensible selection of devices. If we go to the panel, we have this little module here. Makes me quite jealous because my fingers are currently turning blue in this cabin. We have Pamac here. Let's have a look and see if we can launch that. There we go. It is indeed Pamac. So let's go straight to the preferences. We've just got check for updates at the moment. Advanced. Okay, nothing's actually enabled at the moment, but it does allow us to enable AUR support, which is great. I always do that as a matter of course. And of course, we can enable Flatpak and Snap support should we wish to do so. Let's have a look at the repositories that we've got. I did notice this when I was doing the update. It has the core, the extra, the community, and the multi-lib, as you would expect. But there is also a repository called Stormfish. And this is where, with small distros that are maintained by relatively few people, that I just get a little bit nervous. At the end of the day, this is an Arch system, so if Stormfish were to stop being developed, well, it doesn't make a huge difference as far as the core Arch repositories are concerned. But when you've got a custom repository there, that could all go if the distro went. So I tend not to be a great fan of anything other than the standard Arch repos. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm not saying it's a major issue, it just wouldn't be my preference. And what have we got in the Stormfish repo? So, CFS Zen tweaks. Great, okay, so that's a script that's been applied to make it run faster and more efficiently. Something called debtap, libpamac, Nordic Darker theme. We'll have a look at the themes in a minute. The Nordic theme, Pamac all, Papyrus folders Nordic. Right, well, they're obviously fans of Nordic, and so am I, so it's hard to go wrong criticism-wise as far as that's concerned, because I love the Nord theme. Preload, Qt5 style plugins. Okay, this is to make your Qt apps look a bit better. Oh, Snapd. Well, look, I haven't got a huge issue with snaps or Flatpaks. I just sort of feel personally that on an Arch-based system, I've never had a huge need for them personally. The odd one maybe, just to supplement what you need. But, okay. Yay's installed by default. That's always good to see. And Stormfish Calamaris. Okay, so all good. Let's open up the settings now and see what we've got. So it looks pretty standard from a quick overview there. I'd like to have a look at appearance and see what we've got. So in terms of style, Arc Dark, Arc Darker, Arc Lighter. Arc Dark would be what I went for. And they've currently got the Papyrus Light Nordic theme. Let's just bring up a file manager and see what that's looking like. Okay, so I sort of recognise that theme. What else have we got here? So Papyrus, Light Nordic, Dark Blue. How about ePapyrus? Does that change? Not much is changing. No. Ah, right. Okay, so shades of colour there. Okay. Papyrus Dark. I quite like that actually as a theme. Nordic Blue. Dark Nordic folders. I think I like that, to be honest. Okay, so we've got a few things to choose from. There's your fonts, there's your settings. So let's go back to all settings. Let's have a look at the desktop. Well, there's a surprise. I don't know why, but I was expecting a huge amount of different wallpapers here. This seems to be very light on wallpapers. I personally don't see that as an issue. But if you want lots of wallpapers pre-installed right from the get-go, you might want to, go online and find a few more. I don't know if there's any other folders here that perhaps have them. No, that's it. So let's have a look at a few of them. Hate that. Hate that. Not a fan. Okay. Do you know, I think for me, I think this is quite smart, this standard wallpaper. I do like it. And, I mean, I should explain that this is XFCE, it's basically Arch, and for me personally, I'm always going to install a plain vanilla Arch system. I may use something like Endeavour OS or Esnix's quick installer, but I want something as vanilla as possible so that I can build it up myself. So things like a small amount of wallpapers or themes don't bother me. But I am aware that many people like to get a desktop that's fully loaded. From what I've seen, so far, in terms of programs, you're pretty much there with this. It updated without an issue. There was no problem whatsoever. And, yeah, I mean, what else can I say about it? It's a nice-looking desktop. It appeals to my sense of colour. I do like the styling. I do like the whisper menu it has there. I always replace that, the standard XFCE menu with that because I like the search bar and the way it's structured. And essentially, guys, I think you've done another good one. I'd slow down a little bit and get people used to what you've produced. But given the choice for me, if it was a choice of going with KDE Plasma on Ubuntu and XFCE on Arch, or indeed XFCE on Ubuntu, I would always go the XFCE route. I'll tell you one thing that this does feel like. The KDE Neon version was still very much a work in progress. I appreciate that, with a script on the desktop and all sorts of things. This feels finished. It really does. It feels like a nice, solid desktop. So, good go, guys. Not much more to say. Let's have a chat. Right, so that's Stormfish OS. And I think it's come on. I think it's a decent distro. Feels solid. If you like XFCE and you like the little bits and pieces of tweaks and the theming, give it a spin, guys. If I was going to make any criticisms now, they're not really criticisms, they're just nitpicking. I would have liked to have seen a few more wallpapers there. Otherwise, you've got to give people a reason to install your variant over, the plain version or somebody else's theme version. And wallpapers, for good or bad, they don't matter to me, but they do matter to a lot of people. I would have also liked to have seen a few more options for software in Calamaris on the install. But we are talking little bits and pieces here. It's pretty much there. So good job, guys, but just stop now. Let it consolidate. Let it get out there. Let people try it and see what they think. Right, just to let you know, guys, I want to wish you all a happy Christmas because this is going to be the last video before Christmas. The reason for that is next Saturday I've got my booster jab sorted. So I'm fully expecting to be wiped out for most of Saturday and all of Sunday. And as the following week's Christmas, I'll see you between Christmas and the New Year. So enjoy the holidays, guys. I hope you have a great time. I hope you've enjoyed this video. As I said before, please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to join the Patreon page, please do so. And just to thank my existing Patreons again, Robert, Aristotelis, Mike, Ty, Forrest, Patrick, Glenn, Magnus, Darren, Mislav, Chris and James. Thanks very much, guys. And overall, happy Christmas to everyone. I'll see you in a week or two. Cheers.